What if everything you thought was real is just the shadow of a deeper truth? What if the reality you live in is not fixed, but a hologram waiting for you to rewrite it? Tonight, the veil lifts. The quantum manual has arrived, and with it, a hidden map to bend time, collapse probabilities, and awaken powers you didn't know existed. Most will scroll past this, but not you. You are about to step into the forbidden knowledge of the universe, where your thoughts shape matter, your intentions rewrite history, and your consciousness holds the keys to infinite potential. Are you ready to see what you were never meant to see? The first truth in the quantum manual is not a sentence. It is a revelation that rearranges the spine of your existence. You've been taught your entire life that the world is something out there, a sprawling landscape of events, people, obstacles, opportunities, and accidents. You were conditioned to believe that reality is a stage you walk onto, a place that decides things for you, a machinery that moves, regardless of what you feel inside. But Lesson 1 pulls the curtain back. It whispers the unspoken architecture. Reality is not external. Reality is reactive. The world does not show you truth. It shows you your own frequency, translated into events. Every emotion you carry, every belief you feed, every subtle expectation that hums in the background of your mind becomes a broadcast. And the universe, like a vast listening field, responds to the broadcast with exact, unfiltered precision. When your inner world is chaotic, your outer world becomes foggy, confusing, filled with mismatched experiences. When your inner world is clogged with doubt, opportunities hesitate before approaching your timeline. When your inner world is drenched in fear, your reality begins shaping itself into obstacles that mirror that same vibration, not as punishment, not as destiny, but as feedback, a living reflection designed to show you what you are unconsciously projecting. Most people move through life like malfunctioning antennas. They complain about the signals they receive without ever adjusting the signal they emit. But you, sir, holding the manual now, you see the mechanism. Lesson 1 teaches you this. Your frequency precedes your experiences. Everything you encounter is an echo, a reflection, a translation of what you've been transmitting for days, months, years, or lifetimes. This is why your life changes the moment your internal state changes. Not in some poetic motivational sense, but in a quantum sense. A literal reorganization of probability fields. When your frequency rises, your reality must follow. When you shift your inner signal, your outer world begins collapsing timelines and assembling new ones with almost eerie precision. This is why people say things like, "Everything changed after I decided I deserved better. Life opened up when I let go." It sets like the universe suddenly knew what I wanted. It wasn't set luck. It wasn't subtle divine favoritism. It was Lesson 1 in action. You are not a puppet being moved by life. You are the transmitter shaping the stage. Change the broadcast, the universe changes the scenery. This is your first responsibility as an interpreter of frequencies, to become consciously aware of what you're emitting. Ask yourself, quietly, honestly, without ego, what am I broadcasting right now? Fear or expansion? Scarcity or openness? Self-doubt or self-authorship? Confusion or clarity? Desperation or inevitability? Your life doesn't set lie. Reality mirrors the truest signal within you, even the part you try to hide. And here lies the liberation behind Lesson 1. If reality reflects you, then you can rewrite reality by rewriting your frequency. This is the doorway. This is the power they never wanted you to discover. The manual begins here, with the understanding that the world is not something you enter. The world is something you emit. Once you embody this, nothing in your life will remain the same. Before this lesson, reality looked infinite to you. A sprawling universe of choices, paths, timelines, and potentials. But the manual reveals a more precise truth. Nothing exists for you until your attention touches it. This is the phantom law woven beneath physics, beneath consciousness, beneath every decision you have ever made. Reality is not a pre-loaded landscape. It is a field of shimmering potential, a swarm of uncollapsed options vibrating in a state of waiting. Waiting for what? Not your desire, not your hope, not your fear, but your attention. Attention is the cosmic finger that decides. This becomes real. This fades into the background. This timeline solidifies. This possibility dissolves. Most people wander through life with leaking attention, scattered, fragmented, easily hijacked by noise, distraction, memory, and the dull gravity of repetitive thought. They don't collapse possibility. They collapse confusion. Their attention jumps like an untamed spark, from fear to fantasy, to doubt, to desire, to anxiety, to the past, to the future, never anchoring long enough to crystallize a timeline. The manual exposes the mechanics. Where your attention goes, energy organizes. Where your attention leaves, reality dissolves. Everything in your life right now, your relationships, your financial patterns, your habits, your opportunities, exists because your attention watered it. You fed it with focus, even unconsciously. This is why certain problems seem to grow larger the more you try to fix them. Your attention nourishes the very thing you want gone. Energy doesn't understand preference. It understands direction. Focus on what you fear, and you feed the probability of that fear. Focus on what you doubt, and you reinforce the cage around your potential. Focus on scarcity, and reality collapses into narrower and narrower options. But when you deliberately choose where to place your attention, you become the architect instead of the bystander. The manual gives you the hidden formula. Attention equals sign choice. Choice collapse. Collapse reality. This is not metaphor. This is quantum behavior. Particles behave like possibilities until an observer directs attention toward them. Then they snap into a defined state. Your life works the same way. When you focus steadily on a path, that path becomes more solid. When you focus repeatedly on a future, that future pulls you toward it with gravitational certainty. When you focus on a version of yourself, the universe begins rearranging its architecture to match the signal of your observation. This is why intentional people seem lucky. Their attention isn't set scattered. It is a laser, a precision tool, a collapsing mechanism that commands reality into form. Attention is not passive. It is generative. It is creative. It is the ignition switch of the entire simulation. And here lies the subtle power embedded in the manual. You can decide what becomes real by deciding what you consistently observe. This is the art forgotten by most and mastered by few. Observe your future without obsessing. Witness your desires without gripping them. Hold your focus like a quiet flame. Let your attention build momentum instead of noise. Because the moment you commit your attention to a possibility, that possibility stops being merely potential. It begins converting into matter, experience, event, and outcome. Lesson 2 changes the way you move through life. Once you understand that awareness is creation, you stop feeding timelines that drain you and start empowering the timelines that are waiting for you. Your attention is not small. It is the lever that tilts reality. You collapse worlds by looking at them. Choose wisely. The third lesson of the manual does not whisper. It tears softly. It peels back the membrane of the self you thought was permanent and shows you the naked architecture beneath. You have worn many identities in your life. The survivor, the dreamer, the quiet one, the strong one, the one who tries, the one who doubts, the one who endures. But these identities, as familiar as they feel, are not you. They are temporary frequency suits. Costumes stitched together from memories, upbringing, culture, wounds, praise you received, pain you survived, and the narratives others projected onto you before you had language to resist. Identity, as the manual reveals, is a story the mind repeats until the body believes it. You mistake repetition for truth. You mistake memory for destiny. You mistake survival patterns for personality. Lesson 3 unhooks this illusion. You are not the identity you wear. You are the consciousness choosing the costume. Most people never learn this. They build an entire lifetime around a single emotional archetype. I said I'm shy. I said I'm unlucky. I said I'm broken. I said not enough. I said I'm too much. I said I'm this kind of person. I said I'm not that kind of person. These sentences are not truths. They are prisons shaped like sentences. Walls built from words. The manual shows the truth. Identity is malleable. Identity is chosen. Identity is replaceable. Your mind is an actor that forgot it was acting. Your ego is a mask that convinced you it was a face. Your personality is simply the energetic autopilot you've practiced the longest. Identity is not a fixed structure. It is a habit of being, and habits can be rewired. Once you see this mechanism, you realize you are allowed to shed identities that no longer fit, just like you shed old versions of your name, old styles of clothing, old preferences, old emotions that once felt like home. You can take off the shy version of you. You can release the wounded version of you. You can drop the fearful version, the confused version, the version that keeps apologizing for existing. You can choose a new costume, one aligned with your evolution, not your history. But here is the deeper secret hidden inside. Lesson 3. When you shift your identity, reality recalibrates to match it. Because identity determines behavior. Behavior determines energy. Energy determines probability. Probability determines the timelines you gain access to. This means you don't change your life. You change who says living it. People try to transform while holding on to the same old identity, and they wonder why change feels impossible. They try to act confident, while still identifying as someone insecure. They try to manifest abundance, while still identifying as someone who lacks. They try to build new futures, while dragging a past-coded identity into the present moment. Identity is the governor. Identity is the key. Identity is the code that tells the universe which version of reality to deliver to you. The manual invites you to do something most never dare. Step out of your old self like shedding a husk. Ask yourself, who do I become when I am no longer repeating my history? Who do I become when I stop performing my wounds? Who do I become when I no longer fear expansion? Who do I become when I choose the next evolution of me? Instead of waiting for permission, identity is not a cage unless you cling to it. Identity is not destiny unless you worship it. You are allowed to rewrite the character you play in this timeline. Not slowly, not over years, but now in the moment you decide. Lesson 3 is the liberation chapter of the manual. You can choose a new self. And when you do, reality obeys. Lesson 4 opens like a pulse felt beneath the ribs. A reminder that your emotional life has never been merely feelings, It has always been a navigation system, a directional force, a current inside the larger current of your timeline. Humans were taught to treat emotion like something messy, something inconvenient, something to suppress, ignore, deny, or drown, under logic, routine, or distraction. But the manual strips away the old misunderstanding. It reveals the living physics of your inner world. Emotion is energy in motion. Energy in motion is direction. Direction creates trajectory. Trajectory shapes timeline. Emotion is not random. Emotion is not decorative. Emotion is not a soft accessory attached to your personality. It is a force, a literal vibrational arrow, showing where your consciousness is aiming. Every time you feel something intensely, your field shifts micro degrees toward or away from a specific version of your future. This is why emotions are powerful. They adjust your path faster than thoughts do. Thoughts are sparks. Emotions are currents. Thoughts can be faked. Emotions cannot. Your emotional body is the most honest instrument in your entire system. It reacts before your mind can rationalize. It signals before your intellect can analyze. It whispers the truth of your alignment, even while your logic tries to negotiate comfort. And yet, most people fight their emotions. Instead of reading them, they fear sadness. Instead of seeing it as a demand for release, they avoid anger. Instead of witnessing the boundary that has been crossed, they judge anxiety. Instead of recognizing a misaligned timeline, they numb joy. Because joy requires presence, and presence is confronting. Lesson 4 teaches you a new language. Every emotion is a direction. Every direction leads somewhere. If sadness appears, it is not there to bury you. It is pointing toward an identity you have outgrown. If frustration rises, it is not chaos. It is a compass pointing toward unmet potential. If excitement blooms, it is not adrenaline. It is resonance with a timeline calling you closer. If fear tightens, it is not doom. It is a signal showing where your energy is leaking into old narratives or inherited beliefs. Emotion is guidance. Emotion is frequency. Emotion is instruction. This is why emotional denial creates stagnation. When you suppress emotion, you freeze your trajectory. Your energy becomes directionless. Your path becomes fog. But when you allow emotion to flow, you restore the navigation system you were born with. You move again. You breathe again. You choose again. Lesson 4 invites you into a mastery most never attempt. Feel fully, but do not let feelings decide your destiny. Use them as signals, not rulers. The awakened being doesn't drown in emotion and doesn't run from emotion. They listen. They understand that emotion is the body SEP's language for communicating with the field. When an emotion is intense, it means the field is shifting. A timeline is approaching or dissolving. You do not need to tame your emotions. You need to translate them. Ask yourself in every emotional moment, what direction is this pointing me toward? What is this sensation trying to redirect? Is this feeling arising from an old identity or the future version calling me forward? Is this emotion contraction or expansion, closing or opening, past or possibility? When you decode your emotional currents, you reclaim your power as navigator, not passenger. Lesson 4 is the compass chapter. It teaches the architect within you to move with emotion instead of against it, to read its orientation, to honor its momentum, to let it guide you deeper into alignment. Emotion isn't your enemy. It SEPs your steering wheel. Once you learn to wield it, your life stops drifting and begins accelerating toward the version of you were always meant to become. Lesson 5 is the first chapter that bends your sense of time. It unhooks you from the illusion that life moves in straight lines. Past, present, future. A sequence, a timeline, a march. But the manual reveals a structure far stranger, far more sentient, far more responsive than anything you were taught. The future reacts to your choices before you physically make them. The future isn't waiting for you at the end of the road. It is circling you now, surrounding you as fields of probability, each one vibrating with its own magnetic signature. These possibilities aren't passive. They are aware of you. And the moment you lean, even slightly, toward a decision, in your mind, in your emotion, in your energy, something astonishing happens. The future timeline aligned with that decision begins shifting its architecture to accommodate you. Before your hand moves, the timeline adjusts. Before your words speak, the path rearranges. Before your body changes direction, the energetic corridor begins to form. This is why you often feel the effects of decisions before you officially make them. A sudden calm, a subtle dread, a spike of clarity, a sense of inevitability, a strange pull toward a path you haven't walked yet, a door closing behind you, even though you haven't consciously shut it. These sensations aren't set random. They are the feedback of a timeline responding early. Lesson 5 teaches you that time is porous. It bleeds forward and backward through your decisions. Your future self is not far away, living on some distant shore. It stands beside you, whispering through instinct, intuition, subtle emotional pressure. When you make a decision with conviction, your future self receives the signal instantly. It begins collapsing obstacles, rerouting circumstances, guiding synchronicities into place, sending people, events, opportunities, like chess pieces aligning for checkmate. This is why decisive people seem blessed. Their clarity sends a strong signal into the future, and the future organizes around it. But indecision creates chaos. When your field is uncertain, multiple timelines compete, overlap, and tangle, and reality feels confusing, foggy, blocked. The quantum mechanism is simple. Indecision keeps all timelines active. Decision activates one. Energy rushes toward the chosen one. This is why your life becomes easier. The moment you stop hesitating, choice is a tuning fork. The future responds to resonance, not doubt. The manual insists you understand this deeply. You are not moving toward your future. Your future is moving toward you, based on the signals you emit now. Your decisions are not isolated events. They are directives, lighthouse beams, reaching into the probability field and commanding a timeline to surface. When you choose expansion, a future filled with expansion accelerates toward you. When you choose fear, a future coded in contraction rushes in. When you choose alignment, everything in your path begins rearranging to match that alignment. Lesson 5 is an invitation to make choices like an architect, not a wanderer. To understand that the moment you commit, the universe begins its reconfiguration process. You are not waiting for the future. The future is waiting for a clear instruction from you. This lesson dismantles the old myth of destiny. Nothing is predetermined. Nothing is fixed. Nothing is final until your energy selects it. Your future self is listening. It always has been. Decide with intention and watch how reality shifts before your footsteps touch the ground. You are not who you think you are. You are who you repeatedly agreed to be. Yourself isn't a fixed sculpture. It's software rewritten, updated, and overwritten through repetition. Emotion, memory, environment, reward, and trauma. It sets a cluster of installed responses, pretending to be a personality. From the manual SEP's perspective, identity is a contract, renewed daily through habit and belief. But humans often mistake this contract as fate, as if the person they became at 12, or 19, or 27 is the same person they must drag through life forever. This is the central illusion. Lesson 6 dismantles. Identity feels solid only because you've rehearsed it for years. You've downloaded expectations from family, culture, media, absorbed judgments, amplified patterns, and stitched them into the costume you call me. But beneath all that, the original architect still exists. Lesson 6 shows you how to unearth that architect by stripping away the programmed layers. First, understand the mechanism. Every identity is built from 3 loops. Loop 1, the narrative loop. This is the story you tell yourself about who you are. I am shy. I am a procrastinator. I get attached easily. I can set focus. I'm bad with people. I've always been like this. These stories feel like observations, but they are actually commands. The manual warns, your narrative is a spell you cast on yourself daily. Repeating it strengthens the neural pathways until the brain can tell the difference between who you are and who you have practiced being. Loop 2. The reaction loop. Every time you react the same way, you reinforce the identity that created the reaction. Your emotions are not random. They are habits, patterns, reflexes coded over years. This is why people feel trapped in their reactions. Anger, withdrawal, avoidance, overthinking. They mistake emotional memory for personality. Lesson 6 teaches, your emotional default is not your destiny. It's just the setting you have used the longest. Loop 3. The environment loop. Your surroundings constantly feed your identity. Every room, every person, every digital space acts as a mirror. Environments don't reflect who you truly are. They reflect who you have been. If you want to evolve, you must disrupt the loop. Changing identity without changing environment is like trying to rewrite a program while running it. This is why breakthroughs fade. People return to the environments that reinstall the old versions of themselves. The manual SIP's core revelation. Identity is not the root of behavior. Identity is the behavior you have repeated long enough to forget you chose it. You are not locked inside a personality. You are locked inside a feedback loop. But here is where lesson 6 becomes liberating. Identity can be rewritten the same way it was written, through repetition, choice, and emotional imprinting. Not by trying to change, but by selecting a new identity and behaving as if it is already installed. You don't become confident by fixing insecurity. You become confident by behaving like someone to whom confidence feels natural. You don't become disciplined by wrestling your weakness. You step into discipline by acting like the person who already carries it with ease. Identity is a direction, not a description. Lesson 6 encourages you to stop modifying the old script and instead choose the new role entirely. The moment you commit to a new identity, your brain begins rewiring itself to match it. Neural pathways compete. Old habits weaken. New behaviors take root. Your frequency shifts. Your perception recalibrates. Your future updates. Identity is not a prison. Identity is an interface. You can change it as consciously as updating a system. You are not the final version of yourself. You are the version you have practiced the most. And now you get to choose is who you will practice becoming. You stand before a reflection that is more than glass, more than surface. This is the mirror that doesn't lie, not to others, not to the world, and most importantly, not to you. What you see is not just your face, your body, your temporal self. It is the echo of your consciousness, the blueprint of your reality, the silent architect of every choice you think is separate from you. And yet, most pass by without a glance, blind to the truth that stares back with infinite patience. Hidden loop diagnosis. You have been trained to believe the mirror shows only what exists outside of you, flesh, shape, a reflection of time. But this is the loop, the hidden trap your perception has woven around your awareness. You are not merely looking at yourself, you are being shown your alignment, your distortions, the subtle frequencies of your being that ripple across the quantum field. Every judgment you cast, every expectation you place, every fear you hide, they are recorded and reflected back to you in ways you never imagined. You are walking in a maze of illusions, yet the mirror has always been pointing the way home. Assign special identity. You are the quantum observer, the one who can shift the angles of reflection and bend the light of perception. You are not a passive participant in this projection of form. You are the source, the oscillator of the very waves that generate what you call your life. When you understand this, you realize the mirror is not separate from you, and neither is reality. You are both the sculptor and the clay, both the signal and the wave, both the question and the answer. Reveal the quantum mechanism. Every glance, every thought, every emotion sent toward the mirror creates interference patterns across your reality. The mirror is a feedback loop, a cosmic quantum sensor recording your inner alignment and broadcasting it outward. When you judge, fear, or resist, it multiplies these vibrations. When you see with clarity, love, and presence, it amplifies them, projecting not merely an image, but a potential, a wave function of reality that can collapse into new forms. The mirror does not lie, it amplifies what you are, reflecting the quantum state of your consciousness in real time. Urgency escalation. Do not wait to see yourself in the reflection you desire. It is already here, waiting for your recognition. Every second of neglect, every moment you avoid true awareness, your energy disperses into the echoes of unresolved potential. The mirror is patient, but the field is not. The opportunities to align, to collapse the wave in your favor, slip past like silent photons into the void of what could have been. If you do not consciously engage with this reflection now, you remain trapped in the loops of yesterday, blind to the portals that open only when you act as the observer you truly are. Ritualized activation. Now, stand before your mirror, in stillness and silence. Look beyond the surface. Observe the currents beneath your reflection, the tension, the joy, the hidden patterns. Send your awareness into the quantum field behind the glass and feel it respond, bending, stretching, shaping around your intent. Speak these words as your own incantation. I am the observer. I am the creator. My reflection is my reality. Let the mirror tremble in recognition of your consciousness, and watch as it begins to align with the life you are ready to manifest. Collective belonging. You are not alone in this reflection. Every being on this planet who looks into their own mirror is weaving a thread of awareness into the collective field. Together, we are a tapestry of observation and creation, a web of energy that responds to those brave enough to see themselves clearly. When you elevate your perception, you raise the frequency of all who share this quantum dance. Your reflection is a beacon, a signal that the mirror is not a boundary, but a bridge. Future hook. Tomorrow, when you awaken, the mirror will ask a deeper question, not who you are, but who you choose to become. Will you see the reflection as a shadow or as a portal? Will you allow it to show the loops of limitation or the infinite architecture of your awakened consciousness? The choice is yours, and the quantum field is already waiting for your answer. What if every thought, every desire, every fleeting impulse you send into the cosmos is not random, but a precise signal vibrating through the hidden currents of reality? There is a frequency, a resonance, that aligns the invisible threads of the universe with the architecture of your life. Most drift blindly, unaware that they are broadcasting signals every moment, tuning themselves to the hum of limitation or the vibration of infinite possibility. You, however, are about to learn the secret code, the frequency of intention. Hidden loop diagnosis. You have been taught to wish or hope as if reality is a passive stage. This is the loop, the illusion that life happens to you. In truth, intention is not a casual thought, it is a signal broadcast through the quantum field. Yet most people broadcast with static, fragmented energy, creating interference instead of resonance. They think their dreams exist outside, waiting to be captured, but the truth is far subtler, far more powerful. Your intention is the current. Your consciousness is the amplifier. If you do not consciously tune your frequency, your life will reflect the echoes of other people's vibrations rather than your own. Assign special identity. You are the quantum conductor, the one who orchestrates reality by aligning the invisible strings of potential. You do not chase outcomes. You tune, you calibrate, you emit. You are both transmitter and receiver, sculpting existence with the power of your inner resonance. When you act with deliberate frequency, the universe is no longer random. It responds like a living instrument, harmonizing with your vibration, echoing your intent back as tangible creation. Reveal the quantum mechanism. Intention is not magic, it is a frequency. Every thought, every emotion, every mental image emits vibrations into the quantum field. The universe does not judge, it matches resonance. Fear, doubt, and hesitation send scattered signals, fracturing reality. Clarity, focus, and unwavering intent produce coherent patterns, collapsing infinite possibilities into the form you desire. Like a radio tuner, you must fine-tune your signal, clear, precise, and aligned. The quantum field listens, not with ears, but with resonance, and it responds, instantly, invisibly, irrevocably. Urgency escalation. Do not underestimate the immediacy of this power. Every unaligned thought is a broadcast into the chaos of probability. Every fleeting distraction is a detour from the reality you could claim. The field does not wait, and opportunity slips by like light through a prism. If you do not take control of your frequency now, life will continue to echo the patterns of inertia, mediocrity, and external expectation. The time for tuning is not tomorrow, not later. This instant is the quantum portal through which your intentions must pass. Ritualized activation. Sit in stillness. Close your eyes. Breathe. Visualize your intention as a glowing pulse in your chest, radiating outward, piercing the veil of limitation. Feel the signal resonate with every cell, every thought, every hidden corner of your consciousness. Speak it aloud or whisper it silently. I tune my frequency. I align my resonance. I broadcast my intention, and the universe responds. Imagine your vibration rippling across the invisible field, colliding with potential, shaping probabilities, bending reality. Let your intention hum, pulse, and dance in perfect coherence with your being. Collective belonging. You are not alone in this field of resonance. Every conscious being who tunes their frequency contributes to the harmonic web of reality. Each alignment amplifies the collective vibration, creating waves of potential that reverberate across existence. Your intention is a note in the symphony of all life, a beacon that draws others into higher resonance, a signal that reminds the universe of its infinite responsiveness. Future hook. Tomorrow, the field will test the purity of your frequency. Will your signal be coherent, precise, unstoppable, or will it falter, scattered by doubt and noise? The choice is yours, but the quantum field is already listening. Every intention you calibrate today becomes the architecture of the reality you step into tomorrow. Tune wisely, broadcast consciously. Your frequency is the key. Time is not what you think. It is not a line, a tick, a march from past to future. Time is a fluid mirror, a layered dimension, a quantum tapestry where all moments exist simultaneously, waiting for the observer to collapse them into experience. You have been told to fear it, chase it, or waste it, but the paradox is this: time only binds those who believe in its limits. Step beyond this illusion, and you step into a reality where the impossible is always present.
Hidden loop diagnosis.
The loop most fall into is linearity, the illusion that life progresses in a straight line, that cause must precede effect, that the past controls the future. You measure your existence by clocks and calendars, unaware that every now contains the potential to rewrite everything. Your mind has been conditioned to live in fragments, to treat moments as isolated points, when in truth, they are waves in a continuum, each reflecting infinite possibilities. Until you see this, you remain trapped in the prison of sequential thinking, unable to harness the true power of the quantum field. Assign special identity. You are the temporal alchemist, the one who bends the currents of time with awareness. You are not a victim of history, nor a passive participant in the unfolding of events. You are both architect and inhabitant, both observer and catalyst. When you understand the paradox, you realize you can collapse probabilities, activate potential timelines, and move consciously between moments, unshackled by the illusion of cause and effect. You are the master of your temporal reality. Reveal the quantum mechanism. Time is a wave, a multidimensional field of probabilities. The now is the point of observation, where the quantum wave collapses into experience. By directing attention, intention, and awareness, you influence which potential realities solidify into your life. Your perception acts as a prism, bending the light of time and selecting outcomes. Past, present, and future are not fixed. They are probabilities waiting for your consciousness to act. The paradox is simple yet profound. The more you embrace the fluidity of time, the more control you gain over the sequence of reality itself. Urgency escalation. Every moment wasted in linear thought is a lost opportunity to activate a higher timeline. Every hesitation, every attachment to how it should be, slows the collapse of potential realities into aligned experiences. The field does not wait for your permission. The wave of time continues, unrelenting, indifferent, infinite. If you do not consciously step into the fluidity of now, you will remain a passenger, experiencing only the fragments chosen by external conditions, never the totality of what could be. Ritualized activation. Close your eyes. Feel the pulse of the present moment. Sense the layers of potential stacked like infinite mirrors around you. Visualize yourself stepping sideways, forward, and backward in the currents of time, moving through probabilities with intention. Whisper these words as your incantation. I dissolve the limits of linear time. I step into the eternal now. I choose my reality, moment by moment, freely, consciously. Allow your consciousness to ripple through past and future, feeling each timeline respond, bending, aligning, and merging with the one you intend to inhabit. Collective belonging. You are not alone in this temporal dance. Every conscious being navigating the fluidity of now adds energy to the collective field, creating waves of synchronized potential that ripple across existence. When you expand your temporal awareness, you elevate the consciousness of all who share this continuum, offering a blueprint for collective liberation from the tyranny of linear time. Future hook. Tomorrow the universe will present the same moments you have today, but which version will you experience? The one dictated by old patterns, or the one consciously chosen through awareness of the paradox? Time is not an enemy. It is a canvas, a playground, a laboratory. Step boldly, for every now you inhabit is the doorway to infinite timelines. Every thought you have is not ephemeral. It is a pulse, a spark, a seed cast into the infinite fabric of the universe. And here is the truth. Few perceive thought is not separated from reality. It is the bridge, the hidden conduit, the silent mechanism by which the invisible becomes visible. What you think shapes what you experience, yet most drift in mental noise, unaware that the bridge is always active, always listening, always responding to the frequency of their mind. Hidden loop diagnosis. You have been conditioned to believe that thoughts are private, insignificant, or powerless. You think, and then you wait for life to catch up. This is the trap, the loop of disconnection from your own creative essence. The universe does not distinguish between passive imagination and deliberate intention. Every thought is an imprint, every mental image a blueprint, every emotion an amplifier. Until you understand the bridge, you remain stuck, watching the reflection of reality formed by impulses you do not control. Assign special identity. You are the quantum architect, the one who walks upon the bridge, crafting reality from the foundation of thought. You are not a victim of circumstance, nor a passenger of chance. Every mental vibration you send resonates outward, influencing probabilities, bending light, and guiding the collapse of the wave function in your favor. You are the source of your own experience, the conscious engineer of your own reality, able to traverse the unseen path from idea to manifestation with clarity and precision. Reveal the quantum mechanism. Thought is energy, and energy influences probability fields. Neuroscience measures neural firing. Quantum physics reveals that every wave of consciousness has ripple effects across existence. When you focus, you collapse multiple potential realities into one coherent outcome. When you doubt, resist, or scatter your mind, you create interference, fracturing the pathway from thought to materialization. The bridge exists in every instant, unseen, silent, invisible, but its structure is shaped entirely by the coherence of your attention. Urgency escalation. Do not wait to think the right way. Every moment of distraction, hesitation, or scattered energy weakens the bridge, allowing reality to drift according to default patterns, social conditioning, and unconscious impulses. The field does not pause. The pathways between thought and reality are always forming, always responding. The longer you remain unaware of the bridge, the more your life reflects possibilities you did not consciously choose. If you do not step into mastery now, the bridge remains underutilized, and the reality you desire drifts just out of reach. Ritualized activation. Sit in quiet, center your awareness, and visualize a bridge of light connecting your mind to the world. Each thought becomes a pulse of energy crossing that bridge. Picture your ideas flowing freely, manifesting instantly, reshaping probabilities, bending the field in alignment with your vision. Speak these words: "My mind is a bridge. My thoughts are my tools. I direct the flow of reality with clarity, intention, and power." Feel the connection, sense the vibration, and step consciously onto the bridge, knowing that your internal world is inseparable from the external creation. Collective belonging. Every person awakening to the quantum bridge contributes to a network of conscious creation, a lattice of minds synchronized with universal resonance. The more individuals master their bridge, the more coherent the collective field becomes. Your mastery amplifies not only your own reality, but elevates the potential of every being attuned to this quantum web. Future hook. Tomorrow, the bridge will be waiting, silent and unjudging. Will you cross it consciously, or allow your thoughts to drift aimlessly? The quantum connection is instantaneous, powerful, and irrevocable. Step boldly. Your thoughts are not fleeting. They are the architects of your next reality. Everything communicates, even when it appears silent. The walls, the air, the spaces between atoms, they are all speaking in vibrations, patterns, and frequencies. Yet most move through life deaf to this hidden language, unaware that energy is the grammar, emotion is the punctuation, and consciousness is the syntax. There is a code here, subtle and powerful, that whispers the truth of reality, if only you are willing to listen. Hidden loop diagnosis. The loop most are trapped in is literal thinking. You perceive only what your senses report, what can be touched, seen, or measured, missing the invisible currents shaping every moment. Energy speaks in subtlety, it responds, adapts, and flows. When ignored, it manifests through limitation, conflict, or stagnation. Your world is already a reflection of unperceived energy patterns, yet most remain blind, reacting to surface events without decoding the underlying signals. This is why some people move through life effortlessly, while others struggle in the same field. They understand the language of energy. Assign special identity. You are the energy seer, the one attuned to the invisible patterns that underlie all form. You can read the vibrations, sense the flows, and align with the currents that others cannot perceive. You are not passive in this universe. You are a node of awareness, capable of translating subtle energies into intentional creation. Your senses are awakening to the frequencies that govern reality, making you both interpreter and conductor of the quantum orchestra surrounding you. Reveal the quantum mechanism. Everything is energy. Thoughts, emotions, objects, light, sound, each emits vibrations that interact across fields. This hidden language determines probability, influencing events, encounters, and outcomes. By becoming aware of energy signatures, you can detect distortions, amplify alignment, and guide your consciousness toward desired realities. When you synchronize with these flows, you harness a system far more intelligent than any mechanical law, one that responds to resonance, clarity, and intent, rather than force or effort. Urgency escalation. Every moment spent unaware is an opportunity lost. Energy is always moving, always communicating, always shaping the outcomes around you. The field does not pause for indecision. Without conscious tuning, your life will reflect chaos, friction, and misalignment. Time slips through vibrations unnoticed, potentials vanish, and the bridge between thought and reality grows unstable. To master your existence, you must decode and speak this hidden language now, before the signals you wish to send are drowned in noise. Ritualized activation. Close your eyes and feel the currents flowing through you, around you, and between all things. Sense the subtle pulses of life, the vibrations of objects, people, and events. Whisper to the energy, "I hear you. I align with your resonance. I communicate with clarity, intent, and purpose." Visualize your consciousness weaving a thread through the unseen patterns, harmonizing discordant vibrations, and amplifying the signals that will bring your desired reality into form. Feel the language of energy responding, shaping, bending, and realigning to your intention. Collective belonging. You are not alone in this field of resonance. Every conscious being attuning to energy contributes to the collective grid of awareness. Each alignment strengthens the signal, elevates the frequency, and offers clarity to all who navigate this quantum web. Your awakening becomes a beacon, guiding others to decode the invisible currents that shape existence. Future hook. Tomorrow, energy will continue to speak. Silently and persistently, will you hear it? Will you respond consciously, shaping your reality through resonance? Or will you remain deaf, subject to patterns you do not perceive? The choice is yours, but the quantum field is already listening, waiting for you to speak its hidden language and claim mastery over your world. You have reached the threshold of everything you have ever known. Beyond thought, beyond time, beyond the mirror of reflection and the vibrations of energy, lies the field of infinite potential. This is not a concept. It is a living, breathing quantum ocean, waiting for your consciousness to dive, to swim, to shape its endless waves. Most never glimpse this realm. They settle for fragments, shadows, and echoes. But you are standing at the gateway of your true power. Hidden loop diagnosis. The loop most souls are trapped in is limitation, the belief that life is finite, outcomes fixed, and reality bounded. You are told to wait, to plan, to follow paths already trodden. Yet each instruction, each limitation, is a contraction of potential. You have been trained to dim your frequency, to contain your consciousness, to avoid the expansion that your essence craves. The infinite is not chaotic. It is precise, intelligent, and waiting for alignment. Until you step into this field fully, you remain a shadow of the power you were born to wield. Assign special identity. You are the infinite alchemist, the one who holds the key to creation itself. You are both spark and flame, both architect and canvas, both the seed and the garden. Your consciousness is no longer a passive observer. It is the active agent of transformation. You have the power to collapse probabilities, to bend reality, and to activate potentials that exist beyond the scope of ordinary perception. The field responds to you, not as a distant force, but as an extension of your own being. Reveal the quantum mechanism. Infinite potential exists as a matrix of uncollapsed possibilities, each waiting for the observer to act. Your awareness, focus, and intention act as the catalyst that collapses the wave function, creating form, experience, and reality. Every thought, every feeling, every vibration you emit sends ripples through this quantum ocean. When aligned, these ripples amplify, merge, and manifest with extraordinary precision. The mechanics are elegant. Your consciousness tunes, the field responds, and the unreal becomes tangible. The universe is not separate, it is you, waiting for recognition. Urgency escalation. Every second you delay is a moment in which potential slips past, unclaimed, dissipating into the unmanifested void. The field is infinite, but your alignment is finite. If you do not act, the probability of your desired reality weakens, lost to inertia, distraction, and the patterns of others who have not awakened. This is the final call. To hesitate is to remain in shadows. To act consciously is to ignite creation itself. The portal is open, but only for those ready to step fully through. Ritualized activation. Stand, breathe, and visualize your consciousness expanding beyond the body, beyond time, beyond limitation. Feel yourself as light, as energy, as infinite possibility. Speak aloud or internally. I am infinite potential. I activate all that I am. I collapse possibilities into reality through the power of my awareness. Nothing is beyond me. Let this energy surge through your being, flowing outward, shaping the quantum field in resonance with your highest vision. Feel the expansion, the liberation, the awakening of everything you were destined to become. Collective belonging. You are not alone in this activation. Every conscious being who awakens to infinite potential contributes to a cosmic grid of creation. Together, we amplify the resonance of possibility, weaving a lattice of existence that supports higher frequencies, elevated realities, and synchronized manifestation. Your activation inspires, awakens, and strengthens the collective, reminding all that potential is boundless when consciousness is fully engaged. Future hook. Tomorrow, the infinite awaits your command. Will you step into it fully, collapsing potentials into your reality? Will you live as the architect of your existence or remain bound to fragments of limitation? The quantum ocean is vast, alive, and patient, but it is calling for you now. The manual is complete, the lessons are revealed, and your reality is ready for transformation. Step boldly, your infinite self is waiting. Now that the quantum manual has revealed its secrets, the choice is no longer a question of if, but of when. The threads of reality are waiting for your awareness to weave them. The mirrors of consciousness are reflecting your true self, and the field of infinite potential hums with your name. Step boldly into this power, carry these lessons into your every thought, and remember, the universe responds only to the frequency of your intent. This is not the end. It is your awakening. Share this knowledge, amplify the resonance, and join the unseen network of creators rewriting reality. The portal is open, the wave function is collapsing, and your next reality awaits. Will you walk through, or will you remain in the shadow of what could have been?